Hello and welcome to PCI Webinars. Today's webinar, Why and How to Promote Your Online Services During a Quarantine, with Kathy Dempsey. Kathy wrote the popular how-to tome, The Accidental Library Marketer, and founded her own marketing consultancy, Libraries Are Essential. Her work is dedicated to helping librarians and information professionals promote their value and expertise in order to gain respect and funding. Kathy has been the editor of Marketing Library Services newsletter for 25 years and was formerly editor-in-chief of Computers and Libraries magazine. She also blogs at The M Word. She's a member of the New Jersey Library Association and founder of the Library Marketing and Communications Conference, which she chaired in 2015, 16, and 17. Kathy continues to fight the stereotypes that librarians are boring and that marketing is a dirty word. Coming to you now from New Jersey, it's Kathy Dempsey.
Ta-da! Thanks for that intro, Anne, and hello, everyone. I am coming to you from New Jersey. The sun has just come out. We've had rain overnight the past couple nights, but suddenly it is sunny here, and that helps me to wake up a little bit and keep going. So I wish all of you well. I know that these times are not at all normal. It's difficult to sometimes just get through the day. Even for someone like me who's used to working at home, I find myself very scattered and always wanting to check, oh, maybe there's more news or maybe something else. And I realize that it's difficult. So thank you for joining into this. And if you get a little distracted during this next hour, you will be able to get the slides and the handout. As Anne said, on the lower left corner, there's a little downloads box for you. And that handout will also help you not to have to take notes too much. So do get that. It's full of links and other information that is not in the webinar itself, so you will want to get the slides as well for some of the examples and illustrations. So, deep breath, everyone, and let's start talking about why we still have to be marketing even though most of your libraries are closed. Here's a quick overview of the topics we're going to touch on today. I'm going to start by talking about why it's vital to promote, in part because many marketers do understand the need, but sometimes your directors or other administrators don't understand why you should still be working or getting paid or doing anything if the library is closed. So I want to help give you some reasons and some ammunition for those people or for whomever needs to understand. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the future might hold and then jump into what to promote and how to promote it. I'm going to talk a little bit about mini marketing plans, working with partners. I'm going to share some examples of effective messaging and a little reminder about kindness and compassion, which we all need more than ever. And now I do have Q&A at the end, but I will also stop a few times during the webinar, and I'll have a slide that comes up asking for questions. So if you have questions as we go along, go ahead and type them into the chat, and I will stop several times along the way to look at those questions. Okay, now there are a lot of reasons why it's vital to still promote your library even if the building is closed. The first one that many of us think about is because, oh my gosh, we have to provide all of the people with all of the things because they need everything and we're here to help. Well, no. I know a lot of us want to be superheroes, because, you know, librarianship is very much a helping profession, and a lot of us are here because that's the way we're built. We want to provide information and assistance, and we want to help all the people with all the things, but we can't really do that on a regular basis, let alone now when we're all dealing with our own challenges even more so than usual. So I just want to give everyone permission to be everyday people. You don't have to try to be super and do everything. It's okay. There are many things you can do, and I'm going to also touch on how to decide what tasks to take on as far as marketing. So let's get into that. There are lots of reasons to promote, and if any of you are having trouble getting support for doing marketing and PR work right now, this slide will have a lot of information that will help you. Of course, libraries do have their mission to serve, and a lot of us do feel that personally. In some cases, your customers were cut off from the library suddenly. They might have wished they could come back in and get 80 more books for while you're closed. And they may really be looking for you. Your regular users may be really looking for you. Of course, there are other ways online to find you. Here's something to remember. Even if you weren't providing extra online services right now, you're still providing services because your website itself is open with all of its downloads and all of its videos and everything that's on there. So someone has to be supporting the website and telling everyone all the things that were already available there, even in addition to the extra things that you might be doing. You are working hard in many cases to actively support people and to provide services, but if you're not telling them that you're doing that, then you're not reaching all the people who are looking for your services and who need them. A lot of people just think, oh, something's closed. Oh, it's closed. Never mind. They don't realize that you still have a digital branch that's open 24/7, that they can be getting a lot of information and resources and edutainment from. So you really do still have to push that out for people who are not everyday library users. You do need to stay top of mind. And in fact, this is a big chance to win new users and to increase your usage. All those people who thought, oh, I don't need the library, I'm buying my own books, or I'm too busy, I'm always going to movies and going out to, well, wherever they were going out to, they're probably not going now. So this is an excellent opportunity to find people who haven't used libraries and to show them all the goodness that you offer. On the slightly more concerning side, and in fact on the other side of this slide, you really need to continue demonstrating your value. And I'll get into that more in a moment. You need to be measuring your value, measuring how much people are using your services, keeping track of what they say about them, doing that, the basic measurement and assessment that you usually do, even though in a slightly different way. This is also a great opportunity to define your place in your community. Maybe you have already done that, and everyone automatically thinks of your library as, the center of campus or the heart of town. But you need to keep that up, and in fact, you need to do that a lot more often. Concentrate on that a little bit more than you have been doing. You need to not only define your place, but gather evidence of that, because you're going to need that coming up, especially for your stakeholders. And I will also talk a little bit about your funding now and in the future. So, okay. I want to talk about the future for a minute. I don't want to be scary or fatalistic. However, I want each of you to realize that even if you have funding right now, and depending on when your financial year begins and ends, even if you think you have funding through the end of the year, that may be at stake. I've seen a lot of people in the library world talking online about what's going to happen when it's time to reopen. If you are in a college, university sort of community, you're kind of open, but you're kind of not. The college may be losing some funding or putting more funding in other places. They may be buying more technology or getting more technology folks to help keep up with the digital learning. They may need more servers. Any of that could take money from your budget. For public libraries, think about businesses that may be closing. Think about tax revenue that your community might not be getting, whether you're in just a town or a county. A lot of organizations are losing revenue. And so what if, let's just think about the worst case scenario. What if, when it's time to start opening things again, your stakeholders and funders say, oh, so sorry, but we're kind of out of money and we're putting our remaining budget toward things that are more important, like, police, fire, technology upkeep, medical expenses, insurance, blah, blah, blah. So I want all of you to be prepared for the possibility that you're going to have to fight once again for your hard-earned funding. And this is one of the big reasons why it's so vital to keep doing good marketing and promotion now, and to keep measuring how many people are using your resources. And when they make nice comments, on your social media, or they send you an email saying, thank goodness you were still open, I could still access the databases I needed for my paper so I can finish the semester. Or, thank goodness that you're having all these online story times or these educational things, and thank you for making all these downloads available for free. You want to be capturing those messages that people send you, in addition to taking your quantitative measurements, so that you will be highly prepared to prove your value later on, yet again. Okay, so before we dig into the actual how to promote and what to promote, does anyone have questions on the why to keep doing this, or the reasoning, or how to share this reasoning with current stakeholders? And there's a lot of chatter. I'm going to take just a moment to scroll through and see if any were questions for me. Okay, I see some people are still having a little trouble hearing. As our tech support maven here says, sometimes just logging out and logging back in is one of the good ways to do that. Okay, looking still for any questions. Yes, reopening is going to be wild. And this is a point that I will get to later, but while I'm looking at it right now, I will agree with the person who said there's going to be a big emphasis on unemployment assistance. How do I sign up? How do I do resumes, job application help, all that sort of thing. And in fact, right now, there's a lot of need for people signing up for unemployment who have never done it before. And a lot of public libraries that I've seen are already addressing that, at the very least, by putting up resource pages, maybe a whole new web page just on virus information. Not only vetted information in your area, links to go to for news and for medical, safe vetted medical information, but also here's your local unemployment office info. Here's some tips on that. You might want to put together an online webinar for your service community. Have somebody talk about best ways to apply for unemployment or how to check for health insurance, all those sorts of things. So that's something that would be great if you're doing right now. That's the type of service that people really need. Okay, any other questions at the moment? Okay, I don't think I see anything else for me. Since there is a lot of chatter going on, and thanks, I know my handlers here in the background are watching for me. Thank you. If you do have that, you might, when you put a question in, maybe put my name in all capital letters first, Kathy, Kathy, so that it jumps out a little bit more amongst the other chat messages. So let's just keep going. What to promote? This is probably the easiest part that most of you already understand and hopefully have been doing already. Of course, ebooks. When people can't come in your building and get their physical books, ebooks are the next best thing, or audiobooks if that's their preference. A lot of people who don't use your fantastic libraries yet don't even realize that they can download sometimes movies, or they can stream movies. They can stream or download music. You have downloadable magazines. They think, oh, I'm missing, reading my monthly copy of whatever magazine. They don't realize that now many of them are available online. Of course, research databases, especially for schools and universities who are still open and trying to teach their students as best they can. Entertainment. Everybody's looking for entertainment. And while there is a lot out there, that's good for the people, but also something for libraries to keep an eye on, because like you, I'm sure, I am getting emails and social media messages and all kinds of things from every organization, it seems like, in the country saying, oh, look at our digital stuff. Here's a virtual tour of our museum. Here's videos from our zoo that we're going to be posting every day. So many organizations are making things available for free, and more to read and more to watch. And while people may be inundated with this, it's important that your library still be part of that. You don't want anyone to think, oh, yeah, I'm getting all this other stuff from all over the place. I don't care if the library's closed. It's important for you to retain your current users and to seek out new users. Vetted medical information. We all know that medical information is flying all over the place, and a lot of it is really not trustworthy. So this is one case where libraries of all stripes can continue to do what they've always done best and serve up the smaller assortment, not just throw everything at everyone, which I think people feel is what's happening online in general. But you should continue to be that organization that vets the information, that takes only the most valuable and the most true and trustworthy, and put out smaller bits of information for everyone. So you be their drinking fountains in a time of information fire hoses. How's that? I kind of like that. I just made that up. And of course, organizational updates. People who are your followers want to know, open, closed, are you doing curbside service? Is your Wi-Fi still on 24/7? All that sort of thing. So there's plenty to promote. Let me show you some examples of places that I thought were doing it really well. These first few screenshots are, from Kalamazoo Public Library in Michigan. Now, I took these screenshots a week or two ago, and I've kept them because I really like the examples. I went back there a couple days ago, and their sites have changed, but that's okay. I still really like these examples. Kalamazoo's homepage, you see on the left, the first thing that you see is Discover Digital Titles. This is exactly what you need to be doing right now. I also love the picture on the top left corner of their homepage with the little kid with her head down on the desk, and it says, "Bored? Try these fun activities." So they are all about the at-home things at Kalamazoo. And when you scrolled down, what you see on the right here, my screen grab on the right side, is what you see when you scroll down. And it linked directly. It was a lot of the same things again that was across the top. You would see, oh, look, browse digital magazines. Here's that at-home fun for the bored kids. Here's the COVID information, etc. So this is very clear and easy for everyone. It's the very first thing they saw on the homepage. Something else that Kalamazoo did that I thought was really great is they actually changed their About page. Usually you put up your About information, you don't look at it for years, but they actually went there, and when you went to About, the first thing you saw is Let's Get Digital, an online escape from social distancing. And the new message that they added in the top box there, next to the red Keep Calm sign, that message is so important that I actually pulled that out and I put it on the side. And I'm going to give you all just a minute to read what they have on the side there. So here's why that message is so great. First of all, it says, it tells everyone what they should be doing. If you're limiting your exposure by staying at home, okay, great. You wish to use library service, we have good news for you. A positive, happy message. KPL offers a large variety of digital options, including e-everything, and our website is our online branch, and it never closes. So that's positive, that's uplifting, that's saying, hey, we're here, we have plenty of stuff, we have a large variety, and then they go into how to access it on other pages. Here's a different example. This is from Multnomah County in around Portland, Oregon. Most of you now have extended your due dates. You're not taking materials back. You're not charging fines. They had that at the very, very top of their homepage. It's a little hard to see with them because they have a very colorful image underneath. But I loved that they also had that message in English and Spanish. And they used plain language. They say on the top in blue, do not return materials. You will not be charged. And that's a good reminder for all of us to use everyday language, layman's terms, instead of library lingo, saying, fines will be waived. Material, due dates have been extended. Well, we say due dates have been extended. What does extended mean? When is the new due date? It's much more clear here just to say do not return, you will not be charged. A nice example from a university here in New Jersey. They actually made a little video, just under 2 minutes, called We're Here For You. Again, a nice positive message. You can look at the video if you like. I have the URL here on the slide and also on the handout, but it just showed students all the things that they could still do online and how to log into them and how to do it. Very useful. This is a big, big, big one. especially for the public libraries. I know that usually people have to come in and show 20 forms of ID to get or update their library card. Obviously now they can't do that. If you don't already have a way for people to get a temporary card by filling out a form online, that is something you need to institute as soon as humanly possible. This is a really great example, again, not only in the fact of what they're doing, but in the messaging. Don't have a library card? No problem. Or maybe you've misplaced it and it says very clearly in layman's terms, you can sign up for a temporary card that will give you access to all the online resources for up to 90 days. Gives you the link to do it, tells you exactly how to do it, also the benefits of doing it. You will get, I'm reading now the message of this Facebook post on the bottom. Once you have your temporary card, you will get free ebooks and free online classes and magazines and this and that and the other thing. So that's a great message. I really encourage you to do that if you don't have it already. What else to promote? Your Wi-Fi. In some cases, in some rural areas, library is one of the few places with free Wi-Fi. People may be going into restaurants or coffee shops before to get Wi-Fi, but if they are no longer open or only offering, takeout or curbside service, people's connections are gone. In fact, ALA actually wrote a post encouraging libraries to leave their Wi-Fi on 24/7. And this particular library that was highlighted in this post did a very smart thing, saying, park, we're closed, but park your car for free Wi-Fi. This is great for distancing. Everyone can stay in their cars. They can still use it. Other Wi-Fi related things are online. If you are helping teachers with their online learning, or if you were helping them kind of get up to speed, make notes on that. Keep any thank you notes from the teachers or anyone else that you helped so that you have that again later to prove your value. If you are aggregating the most local news, tell everyone that you're doing that. Unemployment information, again, if you happen to have loaned Wi-Fi hotspots or anything, these are the things that people may not be aware of. So you really want to promote them as much as possible. Okay, now for how to do that. Of course, everyone's first thought is social media, email, and e-newsletters. All of those are great. But think about all the things you have to promote and all the different groups that you have to promote them to. And think back to one of my very first slides that says don't try to be a superhero. You will only stress and exhaust yourself. So how do we do all this? Because I just gave you like 100 different things and said, you have to promote them right now. So now we take a step back and start to think strategically. Remember the basics of marketing. Don't send out every single message to every single person or group. That's the fire hose of information that just overwhelms people. You want to choose each audience segment and tell them what you have for them. So what are you promoting and why? Let's say you're talking about your databases. Well, who needs them right now? University students would need them. They probably already know about them, but do they really know how to log in if they're no longer on campus? What can you do for them? Do you still have live librarian help? Are you still chatting or texting or doing phone calls for research assistance? Make sure you tell them about that. But the main point here is target all your information. Think about where you put that information. You may not have, in the public space, you may not have a bunch of senior citizens following your Twitter feed. Maybe they are still just reading your print newsletters. Well, then put all their information in the print newsletters. Don't maybe talk about your large print books on Twitter, because that's not where they're looking for information. So think about what you have to promote, who needs that particular product or service, and what's your goal. Maybe your goal would just be to, if you're reaching new users, your language is going to be different than if you're putting out a promotional message for your everyday people. How will you reach them? Where will you send the message? How will you measure results? And if you're still looking at a list of 50 million different promotional messages that you want to send, look at the ones first that support your mission. Again, you do have things for everyone, but you can't tell everyone about everything every day. It's just too much. So there's some great advice at superlibrarymarketing.com. Angela Hirsch has been doing amazing blog posts and videos at this point in time, and that link is also on the handout. So in order to not overwhelm yourself, I recommend doing mini marketing plans. Now, I give long webinars and face-to-face workshops where we talk a lot about the cycle of true marketing and all the steps in marketing and all the research and all the things you're supposed to do. And right now you don't have time to do that for everything. So I will propose just a mini plan. If you're trying to decide exactly what to promote and how to reach people, stop and think for 5 minutes and write down, for everything you want to promote, what's the purpose of this particular promotional message? What's the goal? Who am I trying to reach and why? Where should I put this message? And then you can also make assignments. Marketing is always a job that every employee should be helping with, not just the marketing department, if you even have a marketing department. And now more than ever, if you have other library staff at home who are looking for work to keep busy outside the building, they can be drafting your promotional messages. They can be volunteering to say, oh yes, I'm part of the Parent-Teacher Association. I can send emails to this group about how to help the K-12 students online. Someone else may be members of the Chamber of Commerce or other local town or county organizations. Let them be the liaison to that group. There are various things that other people can do, whether it's thinking of memes or recording online story times that they can do to help the marketing mission right now. So try to get everyone on board as much as possible, and don't try to do everything yourself. It's okay to ask for help all the time, but especially now. So this is just a quick list of some promotional avenues that you could use, the emails, the online learning platforms for the universities. And again, in the as I'm saying, don't do it all yourself. Make sure that faculty members know. You don't have to reach every student if you can reach their teachers and give them the exact message. Here's a paragraph to copy and paste about how the library is still there for this particular course or for this type of research. Get that out to the faculty and the administrators and let them share it. Obviously, social media. If you had student ambassadors before who did things for your library, this is a great time to keep employing them. And of course, videos and podcasts are really, really hot. If you can make a video or audio of something, that usually gets more attention than just reading a long message. For public libraries, many of you do have patron emails, if you have never gathered them before, if you have administrators who said, oh no, we don't take patron emails and we don't want to have a list and we don't want to, well, guess what? This shows one of the reasons why you should have been doing that all along. Partners, if you have partnerships with other organizations in your town and your community, your state, your university, this is the time to hook up with them. And of course, your stakeholders. I already mentioned the staffers' personal networks, whatever organizations they are part of, PTA, Chamber of Commerce, even clubs that they belong to. This is the time where they can help you reach certain segments of the population. Okay, quick thing here about Facebook. I don't know how many of you have done this, but when you run a Facebook page and you get notifications like this saying so-and-so reacted to your picture, help them see future posts by inviting them to your page. This is something that a lot of people kind of ignore. But this is a really, really valuable and quick way to increase your following on Facebook. When you see these, you'll want to click on that. And let me just go back and make sure you were all with me there. When you see, help them see future posts by inviting them. You click on that and you see the list of people who have liked that post. And those who don't already follow your page, you just click to invite them. And they'll get a nice little message that says, you liked something on this page, click here to follow, or to like that page. Also, really a great time to think about Facebook advertising. Even if you spend just $5 a day over the course of a week, or even if you just spend $10 one time for one message that says, oh, we're still here, we're open digitally, we have all these downloads, whatever your message needs to be. One other excellent way to promote your services to people who don't already follow your library on social media is to advertise on Google. I'm just going to talk about this for 1 minute, even though it's a pretty in-depth topic, and I will be giving a webinar on this a couple weeks from now. You can advertise on Google. That's where everyone's going to look for things, right? And of course, when you do a Google search and whatever comes up on the top are paid advertisements from corporations usually who can afford it. However, Google has grants. This project has been going for years and years, but Google doesn't shout about it very loudly. However, they offer something called Google Ad Grants. This is not a competitive grant. Every nonprofit that qualifies and applies all get the grant. And what that grant is $10,000 a month in free advertising, which is pretty amazing. You can create an ad campaign about anything. You can choose the keywords and phrases. Public libraries are advertising their free Wi-Fi, their ebooks, audiobooks, downloads, videos, language learning services, just about everything. People click on a Google ad, they go right to your website. This is what it looks like a little bit behind the scenes. This is one example. What you see on the left are various search terms that have been chosen for this particular ad campaign. And what you see on the right, these are the ads that will pop up in response to keyword searches that you see on the left. So you can learn a lot more about this you can go straight to the Google Ad Grants page. However, it's a page with 8 bazillion tabs and tons of information. I've given you here one link to an FAQ where it's a little bit easier, www.koyos.co, and there's an FAQ there that explains a little more about it. So that's something that you might definitely want to look into. Talk for just a minute about partnerships. Hopefully you all have built up partnerships for times such as these. There's a lot of organizations that you can work with if you don't already. And even if you don't see yourself saying, oh, well, I would never work with religious organizations because of the nature of my whatever, that could be something personal where you or someone on your staff has a chat with someone they know who is a religious leader or some kind of organizational leader and just says, hey, we want to make sure that everyone realizes the library is still here to help them. Would you help spread this message? Would you share this email with your people? Would you share this post on your social media just to get the word out? Some libraries are already working with their local Office of Emergency Management. That's something that the New Jersey State Library was a leader on. Cooperating with them at this time is a really great thing. If you do nothing else, make one of your most pertinent local links to your Office of Emergency Management. They are the boots on the ground that combines the police, the fire, the emergency services, just about anything you can think of in that wheelhouse falls under OEM. And they always have some of the very best information and links. I follow our local OEM page as well as police and fire on social media. And as I said, they're the boots on the ground, so they have the best local information, but they're an organization that not many other people think to follow. So they can be very useful. Okay. One other thing, of course, now I just gave you a long list of partners you could work with. This is not really the time to start building those relationships because they're a little bit busy. If you have those relationships already, that's fantastic. You're sitting in the catbird seat. If you don't have them already and you want to reach out and start some, again, think strategically so you don't overwhelm yourself and choose the partners that will do the most good, who will really appreciate your expertise, who will stand up for you later if you have funding problems and say, oh, no, I realize that our police department is very important for funding, but I need to tell you that we worked with the library to to share information. They were essential. They were fantastic. They're a lot more than books. Don't cut their funding. So not that you should only partner with people who will stand up for you later, but if you have too much to do or you have a long list, strategically speaking, these are the people that you really want to deal with first, and make sure that you are on the radar of other important organizations in your area. So that was a lot about who and how. So do we have questions on this? Again, I'm going to scroll. If you have questions right now on any of that, go ahead and type them in. I see people typing, and I'm going to be taking a look. Okay, Sally asks about the Facebook invites. If you invite them to like it, is it inviting them from your personal account? No, the examples I showed are from the library Facebook page. They will come up as a library page notification, and everything there is happening within the library space. So they will never see your personal Facebook or know anything about that. Can I give more info? Tony Ann says, and thank you for making my name big there. Tony Ann says, can you give more info on the free Google ads? I can. It would I don't want to sidetrack from everything else here, but if you go to, okay, I will say one quick thing. Everyone can get the Google Ad grants and run their free advertising campaigns on Google. However, as with any grant, there are things that you need to do to stay in compliance, and you have to know something about running ad campaigns and something about digital advertising and bids and that sort of thing. So you can run all that yourself. You can learn about it, or you can hire digital advertising companies to administer your grant. The FAQ link that I sent you to, which is Koios, it's www.koios.co. Koios is a company that helps libraries with ad grants. They are a certified Google Ad Grants partner. There are only about 45 certified ad grant partners in the world. Koios is one of them, although other companies that are not certified can help you with that too. I do some work with Koios, and I know them, and I trust them, and I know what's in the FAQ on their webpage. So looking at that is probably the quickest way to give you a good explanation without taking all the rest of the time for the webinar. Okay, and someone asked for that website, www.koios.co. Okay, let me see what other questions I might have. Much great information. Thank you. Thanks for saying this is useful. Particular ideas on how to reach people who don't do internet. Well, Rachel, that's a big, big, big one. And I did mention if you still do paper newsletters that you mail, that's a great way to continue reaching people. If you used to do paper newsletters and you change them all to online, that's a difficult position. That takes away one of your big strategies, but you can still reach those people through hopefully your partner organizations. Some of the partners I had, let me see. Let me go back to that slide for a minute. Things like Meals on Wheels. Some libraries I've read are trying to deliver some books with, they're taking piles of books maybe that were on their sale racks or something, taking them and giving them to Meals on Wheels and just saying, here, every meal you deliver, someone can choose a book. We don't need them back, just keep them. Emergency management knows who to check in on. They have information about some homebound people, that sort of thing. Groups that are still giving free lunches to students. I know that at some schools and some libraries in underprivileged areas, people can go to pick up a packed lunch every day. You can be giving flyers with those lunches or books with those lunches, bookmarks with some resources on them. So you kind of have to fall back on some of your old school things, but there are ways to reach people without internet. Here's another one. Suggestions for sharing news with contacts that frequently use meeting rooms. Hopefully, you have their emails if they frequently sign up for your meeting rooms, and you can reach out and maybe make one general email and send to everyone who often uses their meeting rooms. Yeah, I mean, hopefully anyone that you have emails for, this is the time to use them. Let me go back just a little more, see if I missed. Good comment from Amber. Our teen volunteers are getting hours developing online content for their fellow teens. That's awesome. Okay, I don't think I missed any older. Let me go back to the more current. That one, I got that one. Oh, yes, someone here suggests sending flyers in water bills. This is something that we used to do in the past before most people were online. Libraries, public libraries who wanted to reach every single person in their service area could cooperate with water company, sewer company, electric company, someone who sends a bill physically to every single household. And oftentimes, as public service announcements for nonprofit libraries, they would allow you to print a message on small sheets of paper and put them into their paper bills, which reached everyone. Now, however, a lot of people have chosen to get those bills and online electronically, but they will still be sent by paper to people who don't do internet. So that's an extra helpful thing. Okay, let me get back to what we have left quickly so we can finish the last few things and keep those questions coming. A little bit here on effective messaging, and I mentioned this before, but it's always worth mentioning more than once because we library people, we just do library speak. That's our thing. And we forget that not everyone understands our lingo. So this was a really great, quick example that I saw on Reddit about less clear messaging. In this case, it's not library, but the medical people have not been really good at this. They're saying practice social distancing, and you could still be contagious if you're asymptomatic. Who the heck knows what asymptomatic means? Why don't you just say, even if you don't have symptoms, even if you think you feel fine, you may still be contagious. So really try to get rid of that lingo. Be exceptionally clear, not because you're talking down to people, not because people are stupid, but a lot of people are extra stressed right now and they're skimming and they're not giving messages their full brain power. So you want to be really clear. You want to just have the facts. And I also say location, 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 because you need to put your messages in places where the target audience will see them. If you want to have effective messages, look to state and national organizations. Don't be afraid to pick up what they're using. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to rewrite everything. Most of your state libraries are doing good jobs at putting out messages that you can share. National organizations, also even international. Mention really quickly, I saw a great video address this morning from IFLA. I don't know how many of you follow the International Federation of Library Associations and Organizations. They're at ifla.org, ifla.org, and they sadly have just canceled their annual conference, which takes place every August. The IFLA president recorded a video about 4 minutes long where she said in English, "We're very sorry, we understand." And she just, I would encourage everyone to go to, and I'm just going to put this in there, thub.ifla.org, and watch her video message, which is very compassionate, it's kind, it's positive, and it's just a really great way to put out a message to people. Very quickly, don't concentrate on saying we're closed, because closed means closed. Closed means you're not there, you're not doing anything. So think about things instead like we're still open online, or our digital branch is open 24/7 even though our building is closed. So be careful about the wording that you use for things like that. And as always, even though it's harder right now, remember all your messaging, everything you put out, try to be kind. Don't have your messaging be all virus all the time, because people are really getting overwhelmed with that. Don't be all library all the time. People are just looking for something funny. They want something to laugh at. They want a little solace. They want a connection. They want to feel like someone still cares about them. And libraries are already one of the most trusted organizations in most communities. So keep up that trust. Remind people that you're there for them just like you always are, even though things have changed. A lot of people ask about how many messages. Not too many. There's no silver bullet to say, how many messages should I post per day? That really depends on your situation and your target audience, your service population. You should already know them pretty well. So think about that. Sometimes just posts of something beautiful, a spring flower or something positive will make people very happy. So, very end here. Do think about the future as much as you can. Give some brain power to that. I know we're all really kind of stuck in the present, but think about the future. Start to make plans for telling people that you're open. Start to write messages. This is something else that people can do while they're at home. What will your messages be about waiving fines? What will your messages be about how to bring things back? You know, the first day you're open, 8,000 people could flock to your book drop. What's your plan for that? Maybe you want people whose last names ending in A through D to drop things off on, Mondays or something. But start writing those messages so you have time to go over them. You might want to think about some sort of grand reopening, welcoming people back. You also want to think about how or if you have to sanitize things in your building. Get your Google Ad grants, because even they're useful now, but they're useful forever. They'll be great for sending out reopening messages to everyone. Be prepared for organizations that don't have as much funding as they used to, who may want to take yours. Remember to collect your usage data and all the thanks that you've gotten. Think about charts, visualizations. You will need both the qualitative and the quantitative data to share. Okay, we're at the very end, and I apologize for doing that, but if anyone has final questions, I'd be very happy to take them now. I see one. I'm going to scroll back up.
A lot of scrolling here.
Yeah, lots of scrolling. Branches have tutors using study rooms. Ooh, that's one for everyone. Does anyone know of tutor clearinghouses or organizations? People who might be doing that online. Thank you. Someone is answering that. Several people are answering that one. Okay. I don't see any new questions, but
I don't either, Kathy.
Okay, thank you, Anne. If you do, I will switch to, if you have questions now that you don't want to keep everyone else on for, or if you want to get me later, here's my contact information. You can get me at Kathy, with a K, at librariesAreEssential.com. I am definitely not going anywhere, so email me anytime. Just remind me what webinar you were from, and I'm happy to help you with anything that I possibly can. And thank you again to Florida Library Webinar Project. Thanks to everyone who spent their time here today. Please do share this with your Floridian friends. I hope that it helps. And I apologize for those who had a little trouble with the sound. Hopefully it will be fine when you listen again, and you can have the slides and the handout. So get out there, people, and keep librarianing, because people still need you, and you have a lot of fantastically helpful resources for everyone. So good luck, everyone. Please stay well. Thanks so much.